Welcome to the Mormon Medium Podcast, where we'll talk about spirituality, the paranormal, religion, and my journey in becoming a Mormon medium. I'm Nannette Ride. Thanks for listening. Now let's go have some fun.
Don't be afraid. Close your eyes. There's a moon overhead, but the sun will rise. Blood on our lips, such a poisonous bite. The sound of our hearts go bump, bump, bump in the night.
Hello and welcome to the Mormon Medium Podcast. I'm Brad and I'm here with Nannette, the Mormon Medium.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we really wanted to backtrack a little bit and talk about the healing journey and how it's not just a one and done thing. And it's not just a journey that you take just healing your body. It's not just a journey you take healing your mind, not just a journey you take healing your soul. Remember, it's that three-legged stool that you have to take care of all three of those aspects or it doesn't balance, it doesn't sit well.
Right, your body, mind, and soul. You have to do all three. So if you only do one, your stool's going to flop over, right? It's
Exactly.
not going to work, not going to hold, not going to heal. You've got to do all three.
Absolutely. And in the past, we called that a milking stool. And we got some grief over it. So it's just a three-legged stool now.
Brad's just 14. It's okay.
I'm not.
Everybody expects it, babe. It's okay.
There's nothing 14 about that. I think that people just need to get their minds out of the gutter, Tyler, and we'd be just fine.
Oh my gosh, he's a great guy. So what happens? Let me see if I can help everyone understand their bodies better and the way that energy works, and the way that we heal. So if you can picture a triangle, okay, and in the center of the triangle is your spirit, okay, and on each side you have something different, okay. So on your right side you'll have mental and emotional. So this is your psychological part, right?
Okay.
Mental and emotional.
So your mind.
Your mind, yeah. And then on the next side you have your structural or your anatomical, so your actual body parts, right? And then on the bottom, you'll have your biochemical or your physiological. So that's your systems. So like your neurolymphatic system, your nervous system, your systems that make your body work. And it takes energy to make them work. Does that make sense?
Got it. So body basically gets two sides.
Body basically gets two sides. It has an anatomical side and a biochemical side. Okay. And if any one of these three sides is not equally standing in the triangle. So let's say that your triangle is shorter on the physiological side, then it's going to put strain on the anatomical side and on the psychological side.
So you mean if you change the type of triangle to an obtuse triangle or an acute triangle?
Yes. Then... Yes. It's going to... It's going to do things to the muscles, to the systems, because, you know, you're talking about the biochemical system, to the structural system. So it just depends on if you have some emotions or some stresses going on, then your anatomical or your structural system, your muscles, and your biochemical system, which is your neurolymphatics, you know, your nervous system, your brain system, like all of that is going to be strained. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but we just took a three-legged stool and we made it into a triangle, and then we took spirit off from one of those legs, and spirit is now like the seat of the stool?
Spirit's always in the center. It's always in the center. It fills every capacity.
But maybe we should say that it's a four-legged process, right? So biochemical, physiological, emotional, mental, and spiritual.
I mean, we can. That's how it goes, but we're just dealing with the things that can go wrong because spirit's not going to go wrong.
Right, but I'm confused now because we took our analogy and we changed it.
No, we didn't. Here's the picture, Brad. See, right here. Spirit's in the middle. Then you have each one on each side. So if you get heavy on one, you're just going to be like you just said, which is just going to cause stress on these other ones. Do you understand? But spirit's still in the center.
Right, but we've always just said mind, body, and spirit. But now we've got extra.
You just have body is the two, is the biochemical and the structural part, just like you said. So it's really, they're really one, but they're both affected. So for example, you could be in fight or flight, right? And your muscles are going to do things. So structurally, it's going to happen. If you're in fight or flight, your body systems are going to shut down because it's going to just do everything it can to keep you safe and alive, right?
Right.
So you'll have systems that shut down, and you may have no issue when it comes to emotional because you've just been in a car accident. So it's not an emotional thing. It's a physical thing, right? So it's a biochemical and a structural thing that you're dealing with. And spirit's always in the center. But you've got to balance all of them. And then later on, as you come out of a trauma, you'll have mental and emotional things like PTSD, like different things, I feel weak, or I feel any type of emotion needs to be healed. So all these different aspects have to be addressed in order to bring you to whole. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we actually ran into one of my clients yesterday.
Yeah, it was actually very cool. So there we were sitting, eating lunch. Yeah, there we were. Sitting, eating lunch, and she walked by, and we're like, oh, hey. Nan recognized her. She recognized Nan and got a great big hug from Nan, because that's what happens when you meet Nan in person. You get a great big hug.
I'm a hugger.
Unless you're creepy. If you're creepy, you don't get a big hug. If you're kind.
If you're creepy, Brad punches you in the face. No, I'm teasing.
No, creepy. But no, Nan's a hugger. So, great big hugs and hello and sit down. And we visited for a little while. And she was actually able to give Nan some really good follow-up for a balance that she received.
Yes. And I actually got permission from her. Her name is Stephanie. Shout out to her. She is just awesome. Totally awesome. Yummy, yummy energy. I'm not going to go too much into her story, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about her goal and her balance and what came out the other side of her balance. When she came in, she had a lot of trauma that had happened to her. And she talked about the trauma. We made some goals, and part of her goal, I'm not going to say the whole goal, but part of her goal was to be able to get on the ground and play with her children. And she has not been able to do that because of extreme pain. And so that was part of her goal. She had other things in her goal as well. And we tested the body to see if it was accepting this goal, and it did. And we did the balance all according to this goal. And the balance was just beautiful. Some really hard things came up for her. Emotional things came up. That's what happens. You're dealing with body, mind, and soul. And while I'm balancing her, I'm balancing muscles too. So when you're in fight or flight, because she had a trauma, I had to release some of those muscles and help them realize they're safe and that they can relax now, and they can take a big, deep breath. And when the body does that and you return that energy flow, healing begins.
Yeah. Do you know what? Let's step back really quick and just re-explain why that's significant, why the muscles are holding things.
What'll happen is, if you can imagine that you have something happen as a little kid. Let's say you were chased by a dog, okay? In your mind, you're going to be like, oh, crap, that dog's going to bite me. And then your jaws will clench. That's your first muscles that'll clench. Then you're going to figure out, am I going to fight this dog, or am I going to run away? And chances are you're going to just run away. But probably not the smartest thing, because the dog's going to chase you. But you start running, but you've got all those muscles. You've got the jaws that are clenched now. You've got the arms that are running to protect your core, and your legs that are running away from the dog. So you've got all these muscles that have engaged. And then you've got this adrenaline cortisol dump, and that comes into your muscles, right? And you get the shaky feeling and stuff, and you climb this tree, right? Well, what happens is the muscles remember everything. All the time. The body remembers everything that's ever happened to you throughout your life, including DNA. So let's say that you had a grandparent or someone that has passed down, abandonment issues or rape energy, or it could be any type of energy. I don't believe in myself energy. And they pass it down from generation to generation to generation. If you ever look at families, sometimes you'll see the same cycles, the same things that happen in these families.
Yeah.
And it's because it's all energy, and it all gets passed down from generation to generation. So when I'm doing a energy balance, what we do is we address all of these things all the way down to DNA and release them so that the body doesn't have to hold that protective mechanism in the muscle anymore. It can relax. And what the interesting thing is when the muscles hold like that, and they hold it for a long time, It can cause a lot of pain. It can cause a lot of systems to shut down, and it can cause dis-ease or disease, right? You can tend to get sick. A lot of people that have gone through traumas will have like fibromyalgia or arthritis issues or joint issues, or, I have an issue with my shoulder. I had a client last week. I had shoulder surgery. You'll love this one. And Brad's had shoulder surgery too. I had shoulder surgery years and years ago, and I always have pain here, and she's just learned to accept it. I'm like, but if it's painful, it tells me there's a beaver down there. There's something stuck there. It can be an emotion, a belief system, a trauma. I don't know, but we asked the body, and it ended up being an emotion that was stuck there. I balanced it, and we did a pain balance on her shoulder, and she immediately stopped having pain in her shoulder for the very first time in many years. And she was just like, what the crap? But it's all related. It's all part of that triangle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes more sense. And, talking about the DNA thing, I think that's super interesting because some people are like, oh, whatever. I don't know that you pass traumas down. But think about it. Like our dog Voodoo, when we got her as a puppy, she'd never been around cow dogs or working dogs.
No.
But we put her out with cows, and she automatically knew, hey, I need to cut this calf out of the herd. And she started working the cows.
Yeah, and she was less than a year old.
Yeah.
She knew what to do.
It was DNA. There was no
Yes.
training, no anything else involved, but she
Yes.
knew what to do. Or a bird dog that will go on point.
Mm-hmm.
Little Teddy, he'll go on point. But he's never been around a dog that hunts birds. He doesn't know anything about that other than, oh, this is what I do when I see that. It's very real. And you're right. There are patterns within families that you'll see, and you'll hear about, break the cycle, right?
100%.
Someone has to break that cycle.
Somebody has to see the cycle and then decide that they don't want to do it anymore and heal it. And the really cool thing is, because everything is energy, it will not only stop the cycle, but it will begin to heal things back, back in DNA. I can't tell you how many times when it's DNA and I ask the body, is it father's side, mother's side? Is it grandfather, great grandfather? Is it great grandmother, you ask. And then when you find out what it is, they show up at the end of the bed. I can see them with my human eyes, and they stand there, and the client usually gets the full body chills and is like, they're here, aren't they? Yes, they are, because you're healing their cycle of abuse that they've had their whole life. They came from way past them. But it's really, really a sacred place to stand.
Yeah.
And you're literally, everything is stitched together in love and in service. And we are supposed to work with the other side. We're supposed to be close to our loved ones, and we're supposed to help each other.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I got to finish telling you about my
finish telling us
client,
about Stephanie.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So like I said, I got permission to tell. So she hugs me, and she's just like, oh, I love you so much. I just have to tell you, can I sit? And I'm like, of course. She sits next to us, and she's like, right after my balance, I went home and I was able to get on the ground, and I've been able to play with my daughters. And I have done it several nights since, and I don't have any pain. It's just so wonderful. You have changed my life. And I'm like, it's not me though. That's you. You did the hard work. You showed up for yourself. You felt all of those things that were causing the beaver dams, and you're the one that healed you. And it's so beautiful, because I see this over and over and over in clients all the time, even remote balances. Like they'll be sitting there experiencing stuff, and they'll be like, how? Like everything's energy.
Well, the great thing is, that I think is cool, is it's not you doing the work for them. It's
No.
you empowering them and helping them walk through whatever traumas or whatever issues they're dealing with. And that's what's really cool, is it's not just it's not it's not that chiropractor who says, all right, here's your adjustment. I need to see you back twice a week, every week for the next millennia. It's hey, we're going to work on this and help you figure out how to get through it. And when you need more, come back.
Right. And I think that the cool thing is, and realize this, number one, if you're going to come and start doing your shadow work and you're going to start doing your healing, realize it's hard work. It's not easy. You're literally refilling things that you don't want to feel. but you're also releasing them and they're no longer a part of you. So you can start to talk about things and there's no charge, there's no emotion, there's no, oh my God, I'm not safe anymore type of feeling anymore. It's like, this happened to me and I'm okay. I'm safe. And it's really a beautiful place to stand because then you're claiming back your power. And it's really cool. I love seeing the clients that I have just take back their own power and learn who they are, because I don't think many people realize that all of the power is inside of you.
All of the power?
The power. Yeah. It is. It really, really is. And learning how to tap into that and stand in your own power and then decide how you're going to live your life, manifest the things you want to. You're literally magic. You just don't know it yet. You haven't learned it yet. But when you start to do this work, you start to see how your body talks. You start to see how your soul interacts with the other side and how it's supernatural to do that. Not supernatural like this show, but supernatural, separate words.
Very
to do
natural.
something, it's very natural to do that, but it's super cool.
It is. You know what's interesting to me is so many people are seeking, right? They're seeking something more.
Yes.
When it comes to spirituality.
Well, the earth is actually shifting. I mean, we can see it all around us. The earth is shifting. She's healing, and we have to shift with her, and we have to find out who we are as a spirit and embrace that and help raise the vibration so everything can become united again. And it's really what we're here for. This is the school. It's so important to do this work. And if you don't do it with me, do it with someone. Start it. Do it. Like, don't put this off. Brad, you're so 14.
What? I didn't even say anything.
You wrinkled your cute little nose and you're like, whatever. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. You know, I have to also say, a lot of people that I've seen lately are dark, really dark. They're going through some things that make them feel hopeless.
Got it. I was going to say, clarify what you mean by they're dark.
Dark thoughts, hopelessness, depression, extreme anxiety, can't sleep. Like they're just grasping at every last straw and they're not finding anything. They're going to doctors. And I'm not saying don't go to doctors. Okay. Let's be clear. There's a time and a place, but these are like the cycles that they're doing. They're searching for everything, and they somehow find me, and I love how spirit sends people to me, the right people to me. But when they get a balance, they leave the balance not depressed, no anxiety, no darkness. All they have is light and hope. And like, I haven't had anybody come back and be like, can you do that again? I'm still dark. Seriously, not at all.
Well, but that's not to say that they won't be later, or that they won't need
It's true, but I haven't
additional
had it
help.
happen yet.
Right.
Not yet. So
yeah. If somebody wanted to get a balance with you, what do they do to go about making that happen?
Lots of things. There's links in our show notes to schedule with me. You can message me on Messenger or on my Google site, Zenergy. Oh, so go to Facebook. It's Nannette Ride Zeeman. So it's WRIDE Zeeman, ZEEMAN. So Nannette Ride Zeeman. You can message me there. Super easy there. On Instagram, the Mormon Medium Podcast there. And you can message me there to get in. I can send you a link to my calendar. It's really easy to get the link to my calendar. I am booked out quite a while, a couple of weeks out. But if you want to get in, now's the time to get started. It's super, super cool to do for yourself, and you're going to find your life will shift.
Yeah, I like the way you said that. It will shift. And look, here's the thing. You can lay on the table and go to sleep, and she can work on you, and it still works.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you. So Brad, all the time, like he'll be sitting there and we'll get into his balance, and all of a sudden he's snoring. And so I'm just quiet and
It's so relaxing.
I finish his balance and it's fine, whatever. But I've never had a client do that. And I had a brand new client a few weeks ago, and he was stressed beyond belief, and lots of things going. He was a little bit dark, and he got on my table, and it was like as soon as I started to balance him, his muscles relaxed and he knocked out and was just out cold. And I finished his balance, and by the time he left here, he was just like this ray of light, huh, Brad?
Oh, yeah. Great guy.
Yeah, super great guy.
It's nice because every once in a while I get to meet Nan's clients too, because I work from a home office. And so every once in a while she's like, hey, Brad, come in here and meet so-and-so.
Well, and it's usually at the request of the client. Usually they're like, hey, could you bring Brad in? I want to see him, or I have a question for him, or something like that. So, and in this particular case, he actually wanted to ask some advice of Brad. He knew that Brad had a similar history as him.
Well, it's generally people who have listened to the podcast and are like,
Exactly.
hey, I heard Brad's voice, but I haven't seen him.
Yeah, and sometimes
Does he look as sexy as he sounds?
Yes, he does.
He's a little more portly than I expected.
Stop. Stop.
So one of the cool things, though, Nan, I think, is that not only do you do the energy balance and you help people process traumas, but you bring an added flair into it that a lot of people don't, right?
I do. Yeah, I'm very different.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So what I do is when I prepare for a client that's going to be showing up, I tune into them with my spirit team, and I ask any spirits that are loved ones, friends, or people that are connected to this client that want to come in and assist with this balance and this healing to come forward. And they do. And it gets super deep and super powerful. And I just figure there's power in numbers, right? So I might as well use my gifts all the time rather than just in a psychic medium reading. And then if a spirit during the balance has a message for the client, I will always give it to them. But I just want to touch on the fact that I don't do Reiki. It's not Reiki. It's not emotion code. It's nothing like that. What I do is super rare. There's a doctor that developed this in Australia. He's a complete genius. And I had the opportunity to not only go to an energy worker that did this work, that healed me, but after I was healed, Tatani, after I was healed, she called and was like, God told me that you were supposed to be in my next class. I paid for it and then showed up and was like, what are we doing? Because I trusted her that much and I trust God that much. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to be an energy worker. Okay, right. So what I do is I use kinesiology. I'm a kinesiologist. I use kinesiology to talk to the body, and I move the energy using a couple of different modalities that are not Reiki, emotion code, or any of these popular fad things that are going on. It's super rare. There's one teacher in North America, and it was Tatani. So there's very few of us that do what I do. So it's pretty rare.
Which is very cool. And look, that's not to say that those other modalities are not useful. They absolutely are.
Absolutely. No, I'm just different. That's all.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm saying is
Yep.
It's just different. So just realize when you show up here, I'm not going to do what
Well, that's because
other
you're
people have.
the 1 in a million girl and you can't be like anyone else.
It's true in every aspect.
So, Nan, you also talk about remote balances, and I know you do a lot of remote balances and a lot of remote
do.
work.
Yeah.
You're always like, hey, I need to send a link for my Zoom. What do I need to do?
I'm a little technically challenged sometimes. It's kind of like putting a lid on a jar. If it doesn't go on the
Oh my
first
gosh.
time, I just give up. It's broken.
Okay, listen. This is a real problem in our house.
This is my weakness.
One of the first things I learned about Nan is that she does not put lids on jars. It's like she'll cross thread them. And so if you reach into the back of the fridge to grab the jar of pickles, because the jar of pickles is always in the very back of the fridge, covered by a bunch of stuff, right? And you don't want to move everything out of the way. God forbid, do something like that. So you reach all the way in the back and you grab it by the lid to lift it up and turn it sideways and bring it out of the fridge. The problem is when you grab it like that and Nan hasn't put the lid on tight, the lid comes off, the pickles fall down, and you have pickle juice and pickles all over the floor, the refrigerator, and yourself. That's been a hard lesson to learn.
I'm sorry, babe.
It's okay. It only happened 3 times before I learned to check the damn lids.
I don't know what it is, but I didn't know that was a weakness of mine until Brad pointed it out. I mean, I've been married 4 times. You'd think that it would come up, but I do. not even thinking about it. If it doesn't go on right, I'm just like, piss on it. Like, just
Right.
put it away. I don't know.
Or if there's like a drink that you're supposed to shake up, I've had times where she'll hand me something and I go to shake it up and it right out the top of the lid. I'm like, oh, okay, I've got it. I've just learned to check lids around Nan. So
He's adapted to the Nan life.
I've adapted. So yeah, pickle jars and technology are both struggles for Nan, but
Yeah.
she does an outstanding job on remote balances though. So explain how remote balances work and are they actually effective? Like what's the difference between getting a remote balance and doing something right here where you're laying on the table in this amazing room?
Really, you just get a hug from me. That's really the difference. You get to, on a remote balance, you just sit in a quiet place. You have water with you. And I usually have you get a pen and a paper in case there's anything you want to write down. And I just have you sit back and relax and watch me look stupid because I'm like moving my jaws and moving my hips. That's how I move energy. And then I'm just talking to you and telling you what your body is saying. But what I do is I surrogate you and it changes me down to the cellular level. So there's been tests that we've done, not we, but the people that created this have done. And it changes the blood down to the blood of the person you're surrogating. It's so fascinating how cool it is. And then I release the energy back to you after the balance is done.
That would be a cool video to maybe link in the show notes. Is that something we can do?
No,
Oh,
we're not allowed to do that.
well, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know. I would. If you come to the house, I can show you the video, but I can't put it out publicly. I would get sued.
Okay. Well, never mind. We're going to avoid that. Litigation is not ever a good thing.
Yeah, it's actually done in a foreign country, and they actually got fined and in trouble for doing stuff like that because it made the medical community look bad. So they didn't. Yeah. It's a thing. So basically you're going to feel everything that happens during the balance. So let's say you're having neck pain down into your shoulders and the body leads me to that area. Then we find out what the beaver dam is, if it's an emotion, a belief system, a trauma, whatever it is, we find out what it is and then we correct it. And so we make that triangle that we were talking about earlier, even and balanced. That's why we call it a balance. We balance all of the systems, right? So we balance your biochemical system, your structural system, and your mental emotional system. And I always have my clients feel it. I'll have them like move around their shoulders or move around their neck and tell me, where's your pain at? And I always hear, I have no pain, zero pain. It's gone. So it's really, really a cool thing. And you will process for probably a week to a week and a half after a balance. What I mean by a process is you're going to think about it. Things are going to pop up. You're going to feel things. You're going to have flashbacks, that kind of thing. But it's your body releasing things. It's remembering. It's saying, okay, it's hitting all of those systems. And it's saying, okay, now it's time for us to release it. Because as humans, we're supposed to release everything. We're here to experience, have it pass through us and release it. So yeah, a remote balance is super powerful. I've had a couple of people that got on calls with me and are like, yeah, I've done remote stuff and I never ever felt anything. I'm like, well, you're going to feel something this time. And they did. I've had that happen a couple of times and it's been really fun to watch because they're like so surprised. But this is super powerful stuff. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, remote balances, it works. It's surprising. Nan's done them on me before when I've traveled, and it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, I love what I do. I love this work, and I absolutely love how the bodies work with the spirit.
Very
cool
cool
stuff.
Yeah, I love it. Nan, thank you for explaining a little bit more. I think that's one of the things that we get asked about all the time is, hey, tell me more about what you do. Tell me how this works. What is this? What does it mean? And look, there's lots of details that obviously we don't have time to go into, or that really wouldn't make a lot of sense just hearing it, right? It's some of this you just have to see, experience, feel.
It's definitely an experience. But it's super empowering because you get to see how powerful you really are. And when you're feeling really low, to find out that you actually are powerful is pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Hey, I wanted to try something different to close the episode out today.
What are you going to do?
Are you open?
I'm open.
Okay. What I would like to do, because I'm seeing this deck of shamanic oracle cards sitting here, I want to draw a card for the week.
Do it.
To see what the week is going to look like, and then see if you would interpret that and tell us what that card means.
Okay.
You down?
Let's go. I'm down. So you're drawing from my shamanic deck. This is my new deck, and it's really, really beautiful.
It really is. Okay, I'm going to shuffle some
He's
cards here.
shuffling cards, and they're kind of stiff right now. So
Yeah, they're super stiff. That might be our card right there.
when I bought this deck, it's so funny because I was drawn to it, and I bought it on Amazon, and I got it, and it actually has a shaman, and it's a woman with blue eyes, and that's what I have. So pretty cool.
Yeah, since Nan is a blonde with blue eyes, and she's also a shaman.
I'm awesome.
In fact, that's something that a lot of people don't realize is you were actually trained by a Peruvian shaman to become a shaman.
I was, yeah.
And you did that for, what, 8 years?
For 7 years. Yep.
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah, that's a lot of training. So, hey, the card that fell out, it literally, as I was shuffling, and this happens sometimes with tarot decks or oracle decks, is you're moving through the decks, like one card will go boom and just
It
kind
just
of
flips out.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. It's cool though.
So our card for the week is number 58, the Tree of Life. And this
How
is
fitting, because this is you.
this is a beautiful card. It's got
totally
this
you.
great big giant tree with twisted roots and trunk going all the way up to just a beautiful leafy canopy. So tell us what this card means for our week, Nan.
Okay, so this shamanic deck is read in a couple of ways. So is it upright or is it reversed?
Upright.
It's upright. So there's the essence of the card, so what the card actually means. And then if it's upright, it's an invitation to anyone hearing this. So I'll tell you the essence of the card, okay? So the Tree of Life is a sacred symbol throughout the Americas. Its deep roots reach into the lower world, the unconscious, while its branches reach to the heavens, the source of destiny. To be whole in your life's journey, it is important to have deep roots and high branches. A tall tree with shallow roots falls in the first wind, but a tree with deep roots can weather any storm. So the invitation, because it's upright, is to find health and balance in your life. Reflect on how you can dance with your actions, your thoughts, and your feelings. If you are too much in your thinking head or in a world of fantasies and daydreaming, connect more with your roots and physical body. If you are caught in a mechanical doing and you are feeling stuck, not able to imagine a better life for yourself, open yourself to be inspired by the heavens. Let your roots and your branches be aligned with your heart's longings. I love that.
That's a good card for the week.
Yes.
And you know what? It's totally fitting because there have been times where I have just been like, okay, I'm daydreaming. My mind isn't focused. I am somewhere else. Connecting with your physical self, that rings true to me.
Yeah. Body, mind, and soul, baby.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much for humoring me with that.
I love it.
Thank you for humoring me with that, Nan. I really appreciate it. For all of you out there listening, if you would like a personalized tarot reading from Nannette, the Mormon medium, all you have to do is support us through the Buy Me a Coffee app, which is linked in our show notes. If you click on that, it'll take you to the Buy Me a Coffee page, and you can support the show. The money that comes in from there is used for products that we have to utilize to continue to put content out there for everyone to listen to.
Well, and additionally, if you just want to donate, you can go there as well. You don't have to have a tarot reading if that kind of scares you and it's not your thing. You don't have to do that. You can just donate, and we would love that. We'd be super grateful.
That is true. You can also, though, jump onto the calendar and get a full-on psychic reading, which usually includes a tarot card reading, right?
It does. Yeah. I will read your aura and your chakras, tell you what's going on, get a tarot reading, and also talk to your loved ones.
If they want to come in.
Whoever comes in. Usually I don't have control over who comes in, but we can ask.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nan. And thank you again for everyone who's out there listening. We really appreciate you.
We love you. Thanks for your support.
And we'll see you guys
On the other side of the veil.